Joining us now live from Switzerland to look ahead to the knockout stages is talkSPORT's brilliant women's football reporter, Gurav in the house. How are you? You look fresh as a daisy. How's life in Switzerland?
Oh, I am feeling pretty fresh this morning, but you would be, wouldn't you, after that performance from England? Oh, what a nice way to end the group stages. Such a nice atmosphere in the stadium. I'm feeling great, Shebahn.
How are your emotions? Because I feel like, from what started with the France defeat to where you are now as an England fan and following the team is like, it's had it all, the ups and downs, eh?
Yeah, we've been through it a little bit. I want to say that I wasn't worried at all after the France defeat, but I think there was just a little bit of nervousness, not even because of anything, I think, that makes you doubt the team, but it was just the performance was so far from what we know England are capable of. And I think there was just that worry. Where have England gone? Why aren't they playing to the ability that we know they're capable of? And then they came back against the Netherlands and suddenly they're back. And I think the narrative has flipped completely, hasn't it? It's gone from we're on the verge of going out of the Euros to we can get to the final, we can retain our title easily. The only person who will even give us any kind of difficulty is Spain. And I think so much of that is down to Sarina Wiegman's decisions, the way the squad have just got on with everything. They must have seen the attention that's been on them and the negative criticism that they had after the first game. And they've gone, you know what? We're just going to prove you wrong on the pitch.
Yeah, and that is the way to do it, to be fair. And look, the negative criticism that comes when England fart is just outrageous. It's like they can't move or do anything without it being the end of the world. Now, certainly France wasn't the best performance. You know, it was just a bad day at the office, you know. But anybody who was kind of ruling them out at that point needs to give their heads a wobble.
Yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, I think we always spoke about this group as being the group of death, but I'm not really sure people actually clocked what that was going to mean for England. Going up against France, one of the best teams in the world, in your first game at a major tournament, when the pressure was on you to perform, it was really hot that day. I think there'd been a lot of squad changes heading into this tournament. Sarina Wiegman had had to deal with a lot. The players had to deal with a lot. And at the end of the day, it was only a 2-1 defeat. Yeah. So I think that people kind of got a little bit frightened that this meant maybe, you know, we were going to go out in the group stages because the quality that we had at Euro 2022 wasn't there at all. And that's completely not the case. I didn't like the way that some people were saying, oh, you know, without Mary Earps, without Millie Bright, without Fran Kirby, we can't do this. Because I think you have to give the respect to the players that are in that squad. They're absolutely sensational. And they have proved that in the way that they've come back from the defeat. England are a strong team. They've got a lot of depth. And without those players, yes, obviously we'll miss players of that quality, but I don't think it means that our Euro title challenge is any less strong.
No, certainly not. I mean, I am definitely one of the people and still stand by my thoughts from that opening game in lacking character, you know, because that was not the way England should start a tournament. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the first time a team who are defending the title have lost an opening group stage game? So, you know, it wasn't the good old England we were expecting. And actually in that situation where there is a lot of heat and focus and attention towards them and how they're going to do without those players, they certainly kind of clarified it in that game. You know, that they were down on themselves in that game. They didn't show character. And I will absolutely stand by that and saying that because, I mean, I've been taking it tight about that kind of comment last week as well. And that's the beauty of it. Everyone can still have the opinion at the same time. But the Lionesses are so stacked, you know. So yes, without the players who decided that they're not going to be there for their reasons, it's the show goes on kind of thing. And certainly those last two games, Wales last night against the Netherlands, they really showed their mettle and they showed their character.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in that there was nobody in that first game who stood up, just said to the team, look, let's take a minute and remember who we are and play our game. What I think surprised me was that we didn't see that from the leaders who I think still are in the squad. Yeah. The likes of Leah Williamson, from the likes of Lucy Bronze, Jess Carter, Alex Greenwood, Georgia Stanway. I think a lot of them had, by their standards, a poorer game. And I think that's probably what made it hard for those kind of characters to be the leaders that we know them to be. I don't think England lack leaders inherently in the squad. I just think in that particular game, they didn't stand up. And since then, they have, Georgia Stanway's been absolutely sensational since then. Lucy Bronze has been almost back to her best. That switch between Jess Carter and Alex Greenwood, I think, has done wonders for both of them because they've been able to play to the best of their ability. And I just think it shows that sometimes, if the whole team has an off day and there's nobody in there who has the composure to say, look, this is just the situation we're in. We need to turn this around at half time. And they almost did at the end. Michelle Agyemang, I'm gutted for her that she didn't quite manage to get the equaliser at the end. Yeah. But sometimes leadership actually comes from the most unexpected places, right? She's a future England captain for me to come on and be able to show that kind of quality in a moment when your team needs you. Full credit for her. I really hope we see more of her this tournament because she's been sensational.
Yeah, she's absolutely wicked. And that's the thing, before it's further down the line, before it's the World Cup in 27, you want to see her show the kind of raw energy that she's got. I mean, I'm still thinking about her facials coming onto the pitch for that first game. I'm like, oh my God, she was there to just destroy, disrupt France's party, and she was trying her best to do that. I mean, a battle of the border last night, and England just went for it, didn't they? They absolutely went against Wales. But one of the highlights, Uma, have been Wales at the tournament. I mean, you've been socialising with a lot of the fans and seen what they're up to. It's part of the journey, isn't it? Just them making it to a major stage.
Yeah, we talked about Wales before the tournament and how they weren't getting the credit that I think they deserve heading into this tournament.
Yeah.
And it has been such an eye-opener just talking to the fans and just understanding what this experience means to them. Honestly, brought a tear to my eye, I think, speaking to the fans and watching them do their fan walk up to the stadium last night. The passion, the spirit they have when they sang their national song before the game. They care so much. And even at full time, the fans just weren't leaving. They were there for the team because I think in their eyes, this is the start of something really special. They want to be at the next major tournament. They want to be at the World Cup and many more to come. The feeling towards Rhian Wilkinson is absolutely incredible as well. I think she is a bit of a national hero now for what she's done for women's football in Wales. Yes, I know they're going to be going home, but I think they can go home with their heads held high. They certainly put up a fight against France. And I think while they'll be a little bit disappointed that they didn't manage to challenge England a little bit more last night, that goal from Hannah Kane was absolutely spectacular. Friend of the show, I know. Gosh, she can take a bow for that one. I think that might actually have been the goal of the night, to be fair. I know England scored a lot, but that one.
It was a wicked goal. And the place went wild. I mean, the fans were like, it was almost as if it was a goal that sent them through to the knockouts. It meant the world to them. And do you know what? Sometimes it's just these moments that mean everything. It's even Jess Fishlock's goal and, the game against France. It's like they need these moments and they're getting them and they're there. And I think I've told this story about 10 times already today, but I was in Wales on Friday visiting a school, the Awel Taft School in Pontypridd, and there was these I'm talking 4 and 5-year-old girls coming out of their reception class to play football, and they had on their little Wales shirts and they had their little Welsh accents, and I was just like, oh my God, you're so cute, and just, we want to play football today. I don't know what that accent was. That was miles off it.
Very Welsh.
But I was just like, great. And they're all talking about Jess Fishlock and Hannah Kane and Sophie Ingle. And I was like, oh, bless them, and every country needs that moment, and fair play to them. They've changed the landscape of women's football for girls in Wales. And that's a great start, isn't it?
It is, and they'll be back. I think they've put down a mark here. They will be back. Wales will be back at a major tournament before long. And I think next time around, they'll take so much heart from the fact that they've had the experience and they'll want to do better. I loved the way they were speaking in the press conference, saying that the pressure was on England and that they hadn't given up on the possibility of getting through to the knockouts, even though it was mathematically quite unlikely. Yeah. The fight was there, and that's what you have to have going in as the underdog. It's going to be hard against the defending champions. It's always going to be a game that, you're going to struggle in, I think. But they've gone up against France, the Netherlands, and England at their first major tournament. It doesn't get any harder than that. And the next time they come back, they will be so much more equipped, I hope, to do better. Yeah, exactly that. No, fair play to Wales. Well done. Take a bow. Up the road and on to the next. Can we just talk about the end towards Group D? Because I mean, Uma, I'm sitting there watching the England game. Once they're 3-0 up, I was like, right, okay, I'm going to put on the Netherlands game. And then the Netherlands come into it, they're 2-1 up. And I'm looking and going, hold on a minute, 2 more goals. If France don't get any more, 2 more goals, the Netherlands would have gone through on goal difference. And I was like, this is crazy. No Vivianne Miedema. I mean,
What's the chat out in Switzerland about that?
Yeah, I think it was a real shock because, as we talked about, having three of those teams in the same group, you always knew one of them was going to go out. But I think when you try and compute the fact that the Netherlands aren't going to be in the knockout stages of the Euros, it's really hard. And I've been surprised at how the Netherlands have performed at this tournament, especially against England, I have to say. I feel like they just completely capitulated. However, maybe the warning signs were there because I know they suffered that 4-0 defeat to Germany in the run-up to this tournament, and they haven't looked strong. I think the Netherlands rely far too much on Vivianne Miedema, and I actually think that that's a problem that Manchester City have had too. She's a fantastic player, but you can't take on the whole of the England team or the whole of the France team with just Vivianne Miedema. And I also think that their manager, I think he came in for a bit of criticism for the way that he discussed this group, particularly the way he discussed the Wales team. I know they beat Wales 3-0, but he was very much going into it quite complacently, I think, thinking that Wales weren't going to put up a fight, acting as though there were only 3 teams in the group. And I'm not sure if maybe perhaps there wasn't enough respect shown to the group that they were in, because the Netherlands are going out and they shouldn't really be going out under the circumstances that they're going out in. They've conceded a lot of goals, and I think there's going to be some conversations had now. I mean, I saw a lot of Netherlands fans, obviously when they went up against Serena Wiegman, they were saying, Serena, please come back, please come back. And I think the model in the Netherlands they need to take a look at it, because since 2017, when they won the Euros, it feels like it's been a bit of a downhill trajectory for them. What that is, I'm not sure, because they've got the players to be far better than they are on the world stage.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about their form going into this competition as well. That's why it was likely that Lionesses and France would come out the group. I mean, I think the Netherlands, who, like you, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy watching, and they've got a brilliant squad. They're just not doing as well as they should be. I think they managed a draw against Scotland before going to the Euros as well, you know, which is it's a great result for Scotland, you know. So something's not right. And as we know, Serena Wiegman's number 2 is going to become the head coach of the Netherlands after the Women's Euros. But I think we all know and love Vivianne Miedema, and funnily enough, she can still divide opinions, you know, with, you know, is she past her best now? But you even look at her getting her 100th goal there against Wales, and the way that she did it, the fashion that she's got, she's absolutely quality. You know, she's just world-class player time after time. And I'm in my head that last night I'm fuming for her. I'm like, why is she not on a pitch? Like, when you need a couple of goals, it's like Portugal men having Ronaldo on the bench when they need 2 goals. You bring these players on, so either something's not right with Vivianne Miedema, something's not entirely comfortable with her, and this is, you know, a decision that they've reached together, or it's one of those things where it's a manager who maybe perhaps can't manage Vivianne Miedema, like we saw with Jonas Cedeval at the past.
Yeah, and it's just, for the Netherlands fans, you're thinking, we were in a position where we were winning. We could have done it.
2 goals.
It's crazy. And think about that as a fan, to go from a position where you have the chance to cause a huge upset and you just manage to throw it away. And that's what makes it so painful. And I think that's where the criticism comes in, because it's not that you couldn't have won. You had France right where you wanted them to be. Also, by the way, I think that's proved how to get at France, who did look really strong in the first 2 games. The Wales got past them. The Netherlands did get past them. I'm just saying, if England come up against them again, I think those are where the lessons need to be learned. But for the Netherlands now, Vivianne Miedema is, I think, known by every single football fan as possibly one of the best players in the world. To not put her on in that moment, I mean, that's the equivalent of, for us, like not having a fit Lauren James on. And again, maybe it comes back to this. Maybe her fitness isn't there. We know she did struggle a little bit with injury, but I have to say, in the first 2 games, she looked fine. So it was absolutely baffling. And the Netherlands will be sorely disappointed, as I think they should be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see. I imagine we'll maybe hear from Vivianne Miedema or the manager at some point on this situation, but the Netherlands go home alongside Wales. Thank you, Group D, for being thoroughly entertaining. The Lionesses and the French progress. Uma, keep enjoying your time in Switzerland. We can keep following your journey, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Shebahn. I'll speak to you soon.